Yeah, hey, Chris, thanks so much. Well, they better go back to work with the way they played in that game. But here at the Star, the big D is for drama. And thanks to those comments you heard from Micah Parsons, there's a firestorm of criticism headed his way. And that also was the first thing that head coach Mike McCarthy addressed at his press availability today. Ed, what'd you think about what McCarthy had to say?
Well, McCarthy said that the two of them got together, sat down, had a conversation about it. He said they, quote, handled it like men should handle it. He also said that Parsons made it clear to him that he was not intending to be critical of the head coach, as many have interpreted that comment or those comments to be. McCarthy said these are the kind of things that they have to eliminate from their culture, that conversation brings resolution. And as you said, he said it's the kind of thing that we can't be focused on. We have too much work that we have to do. I thought it was interesting that Parsons, you know, he didn't express any empathy at all for McCarthy.
None.
He could have not mentioned McCarthy at all and just spoke to his concern about this team failing its veteran players at the end of their careers.
Micah Parsons has a podcast. You think he'd do a better job of expressing himself. Coach McCarthy is part of the team, and with the way McCarthy spoke about him, it didn't sound like he was. All right, let's stick with McCarthy because we do need to talk about that offense that made that game unwatchable in the second half against the Eagles. Ed, do you think there's any path to productivity for that offense with Cooper Rush remaining as the starting quarterback?
Yeah, I think the Cowboys and the coaches were all shocked at how poorly Cooper Rush handled that game. That's not the way he's played for the bulk of his career. If he had played that way, you know, previously, he wouldn't be here. He wouldn't be the backup quarterback. But McCarthy also took some of the blame, saying that he did a poor job as the offensive play caller and game planner in making him comfortable early in the game. Brian Schottenheimer, the offensive coordinator, said that Cooper Rush is not a guy he worries about, and said there is still a lot of faith in him and the coaching staff and in the locker room. But here's how bad it was. And McCarthy said they do have to get the ball down the field more. Rush was 1 for 8 for 9 yards on balls with more than 5 air yards. That an average of 1.0 yards per attempt. Lowest rate in the NFL this year.
Astonishingly bad. And speaking of astonishingly bad, you've covered a lot of NFL football, Ed. Have you ever covered anything as ridiculous as Curtain Gate?
No, and I really don't know why it's an issue. I mean, why does Jerry say that, you know, hell, it affects both teams? Why should it affect any team? You're playing in a dome. You built a dome to eliminate the elements outside it. But when CeeDee Lamb, your $35 million receiver, says, kept me from catching a touchdown pass, maybe you ought to take it a little more seriously. And just listening to Brian Schottenheimer and Mike McCarthy talk about how much planning goes into avoiding these situations, it's really ridiculous that it's so easily solved. And they think Kellen Moore, having played here as a quarterback, helped the Eagles handle it yesterday.
There's a metaphor there, focused on the wrong things. The 3-6 Cowboys take on the Texans on Monday night. Chris, back to you.